literally one right here. So I recently come across several videos by several fellow booktubers. Well, and also a couple of them, I guess technically just YouTubers. But I mean, I just wanted to briefly talk about the fact that I don't like the fact that I notice so many people, and I guess obviously I know it's been going on since long before I ever joined Booktube or YouTube, and but that is, I don't like the fact that so many people are obsessed with the number of subscribers they get, or views, or likes, or comments. But I think it's mostly like the subscriber thing and view count thing. And granted, I know there are a lot of fellow booktubers and YouTubers who, I guess, actually do, kind of rely on whatever income they get from monetizing their channel, monetizing most of their content. Me personally, I don't even know anyone who actually receives, a decent income from monetizing their content on their YouTube channel. I mean, yeah, I hear about it a lot, or I see it on social media that, so-and-so she's got, or he's got, or they've got over 1 million subscribers, and therefore, they're raking in the big bucks every month, every year. And, which, hey, I mean, that's cool, awesome, but at the same time, I know that those people, when you really think about it, and especially, and they're actually pretty open about it too, because I mean, I've actually seen a couple YouTube documentaries, which I guess is kind of hard to believe that those actually exist, but well, for me, it was like, I didn't even know that there were documentaries about YouTube, but there are. So, but the ones that I saw, they focused on several different YouTubers, and of course, they came out some time ago, like more than 5 or 6 years ago. But I like that, the YouTubers that they talked to and they interviewed and followed around, they were quick to tell the creators of these documentaries, they were quick to tell them, that, yeah, I do get a decent amount of income from the ads that I run, that I allow to run on my videos and other content, and but then they were also quick to say, but the fact that they also, and they're able to get a decent amount of income because they invest so much time and energy and money into their channels, which makes sense, obviously, So, but I mean, like for in one case, and, I forget all their names because it was a while ago that I watched these documentaries, but there was like one guy who said that usually he would spend, it took him 2 to 3 days just to create one new video for his channel. Not only film it and then edit it, but then to add all these special effects and to clean up the audio, to compress it, but then also to compress it in a way that it doesn't take away from the high definition quality of it. And and also too, he also said that he in the past he had made he had spent hundreds of dollars on new equipment, or even upwards of thousands of dollars. Of course, he ended up having to max out his credit cards to buy top of the line equipment and whatnot. And but then even then, like most of the time, like he said, like he's not satisfied with the way a certain video turns out, and then he ended up just deleting it, just scrapping the whole thing and starting over. And so I mean, in that sense, like it got me thinking too, like, you know, if you're putting, yeah, okay, great, you put that much effort into something you like doing, but also, you know, to me it seems like, you know, if something like that, if it's something you love but then it's causing you stress at the same time, I figure, you know, why bother stressing yourself out like that? I mean, I don't know. I guess what I'm driving at is I believe it's important to be yourself. I believe it's important for everyone to be yourself on Booktube, on YouTube, but also in life as well. And, you know, granted, I know a lot of people, when they hear the phrase, you know, when somebody tells them just be yourself, a lot of people will shrug it off, you know, or they'll say something like, oh, that's stupid, you know, being yourself never works. For me, I guess I never, like, anytime I think of that phrase, be yourself or just be yourself, I don't think of it in terms as like something that can be quantified or something that can be used as a product or a brand of any kind. Because I think that, unfortunately, nowadays, with the advent of YouTube and social media, I feel like people now, and I guess for me, I mostly mean like millennials, which I happen to be a millennial, and also other generations, especially like today's teenagers. And it's like we're the ones that now, when we hear the phrase be yourself, it's almost like if most of the time we think about it in terms of like some kind of brand or some kind of product. We think of like being yourself, you know, and then we think, oh, well, how can I use myself in order to gain a certain amount of followers, a certain amount of subscribers, you know, or how can I use myself, turn myself into a brand, and then profit off of that. And, you know, I mean, I'm saying, you know, hey, if that's what you want to do, great. In fact, I would encourage you to do it just so you could have that experience. I'm not trying to say that that's a bad thing, that you shouldn't do it. It's more like I'm saying that I don't think it's a good thing to become obsessed with that, because, you know, I mean, I don't know, for me, you know, there's other aspects of life. I mean, you know, even though for me, like, you know, for my channel, yeah, you know, I spend a certain amount of time each day creating content, you know, editing stuff and putting stuff together and all that. I mean, and oftentimes, yeah, I will admit, sometimes, you know, I fall into that trap of, you know, where like there'll be a certain video that I've edited and I like how it turns out, and it just seems to flow very nicely, very smoothly, and then I say to myself, well, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, I get a lot of views because of this one video. And then I upload it, and then no, I barely get between 2 to 5 views within the first couple of days. Yeah. So I mean, you know, but then, you know, eventually, so I'm saying, like, in the beginning when I started my channel, I fell into that trap, and again, I still kind of do, but then I quickly remind myself that, hey, you know, you're not doing this for the money. Like, for me, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not. I mean, yeah, I mean, I put up different links here and there. Like, I've got a link to my self-published books, my novels, and my poetry collections. and I'm grateful for the people who have bothered in the past to purchase some of my original books. I'm definitely grateful for that. Thank you. If you're watching this, but I mean, even with that, like I've only sold like definitely less than 5 copies of my books. So that's why I'm saying I'm not doing this for the money. Just like with other things too, I don't, I'm also an artist, so I'm a writer and a poet and musician. All these things I don't do for the money. I do them because I'm passionate about them. They're things that I like doing, that I do anyways, that, that I just enjoy doing. But that's just me, I'm not trying to say that I believe everybody should do the same thing. I'm not saying that I believe everyone should just not care about money or monetizing. I'm not saying that. I'm just, really, I guess I'm just kind of rambling it. But ultimately, I wanted to get across the message that I believe it's important to just be yourself, Don't worry about if you don't have the right kind of software or the right kind of lighting or the right kind of camera, or it's because to me, again, that's another thing that I feel like, it can't be a good thing when you obsess over all that stuff, But then again, too, I'm saying, unless that is where you want to head, if that's what you want to work towards, or if that is what you're already doing, then again, great. Definitely awesome, I don't know, it's just, I don't like the fact that it's just, nowadays, and even before YouTube, before social media, it still ended up feeling like a lot of people would think about themselves and think about other people in terms of like a brand or a product. But then, hey, I guess that's what comes from living in a capitalist society. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's, that's how I feel about it. Again, just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. We're all unique. We all have our own unique things to offer one another, and and especially we should not put down each other, or we shouldn't put down each other just for the fact that we're being ourselves, that each of us is injecting a piece of our personality into our content, into our channel, into our different channels. And granted, I know that human beings are complex creatures and beings, but at the end of the day, it's we're all living on the same planet, we're all breathing the same air, sharing the same water. Inevitably we do share the same water, the same air. So I don't know. maybe I just maybe it's just me. If it's just me, hey, then I'll go off into the woods somewhere and meditate for a while, or what am I saying? I don't know. I used to meditate quite often. I gotta take up meditation again. So yeah. So anyways, that's ultimately what I wanted to say. I didn't really mean to ramble, but yeah. Again, be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Let your true self shine through and all that awesomeness. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.